right, I'm back, y'all. It's your girl, Terry, and I'm back. We'll be streaming on 2 platforms today, so that's exciting. Should get an interesting mix of folks when that happens. It's nice to have that because it can be a little bit, chaotic and fun when that happens. So, yeah. Oof. I got nails to do. I had them painted this color for over a week. First time in a long time that I wasn't able to get them done in time. So, not feeling great about that, but it is what it is. I hate missing out on my little self-care time. It's a little thing. But as women, we need these things. We need our nail time. We need, whatever it is that we do, where we just play with ourselves. Hey, Matthew. Matthew's here. You're first. Amazing. Isn't it an amazing day? It's an amazing day. It's really pretty outside, but it's kind of cold, especially when you get into the shade. And even in the sun, it ain't that great either, because I was in it and I was still feeling a little chilly. I didn't really wear a proper jacket when I went out just because I was feeling my outfit and I didn't want another layer. And let me tell you, numerous places I went, people were leaving the door open. You dreamt about me last night. Intriguing. That is intriguing. What did we do? Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, my hair stuff. I do care about my hair. I was blessed with a nice head of hair, thankfully. But there are certain products we as ladies can use that work with what we were given better than others. So, yeah, I found a really nice shampoo and conditioner recently that seems to be really working well for my hair. I don't do much else with it in terms of products. Like maybe occasionally I'll put a little hair oil in it if it's a little extra frizzy towards the ends or something, I do have some sea salt spray that I got for my hair as well, but only used it a couple times. I haven't found that I like it too much. I don't usually apply any heat to my hair either. I'm pretty careful about that. So I think I've used a blow dryer on my hair once in the past year. And even then I didn't let it fully dry. I was just kind of trying to speed the drying up a little bit and style it just so it would be a little bit extra curly. The fun thing about my hair texture is I can make it go straight or curly. It's one of the benefits of having wavy hair. Why are you stressing about your hair? No. Yeah, you need to think, what do you want? What's going on with your hair? Are you bored of it? Is it too much? I find mine is getting a little bit weird. I don't know. Especially with having some grays and silver hairs. The more I get, the more I notice that they shed a lot. They're very fragile, and I have to think when I get older, as I get older, what's this going to be like? Am I going to be able to have long hair? How am I going to take care of it? I think I might need to get a bonnet. You know what? Do you have a bonnet? Because I've been thinking about that lately. Protection at night is really important for our hair. And like a lot of women, myself included, don't take the proper precautions. Like you do all this stuff to moisturize your hair, and then, we don't put anything on it at night to lock it in. So a lot of that product gets, in our pillows and whatnot instead of remaining in our hair. So I've been thinking about that lately. Like also bonnets help with protection, keeping your hair from breaking at night, because that's pretty common. I usually will put my hair up at night just to keep it from going wild. But yeah, I think a bonnet is definitely something, a nice satin sleeping bonnet is something that I'm going to need to invest in, especially if I'm interested in maintaining length. Length to me is important. Like I've thought about getting it cut a few times, but there's just too much love for the hair. People are like, I love your hair. Don't cut your hair, and I'm like, all right. I haven't had it long in a number of years, so I am enjoying it too. It's fun, but it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of, it's a lot to maintain, and learning how to take care of it is a process. So Edwardian. I'm probably the most Edwardian person you know. I do be kind of Edwardian. See Sal, if we ever do hang out, I can totally see us going girly shopping spree. My friend was in your hometown and my home away from hometown yesterday and today. And she sent me a picture from Target, my favorite Target in the whole world. Because that's the Target I first went to when I was a kid with my grandma. And I got my first platform shoes there and all my Prince CDs that summer. I think I got the Graffiti Bridge album that summer. And what other albums by Prince? I don't know. She brought me like 3 Prince albums. But yeah, the Graffiti Bridge one I was obsessed with. That movie is so weird. Graffiti Bridge. Like, when I think about it now... Oh man. Like, what was that movie? What was the other movie he did? Under the Cherry Moon. That one makes a little bit more sense. And I like that it's in black and white. It's kind of fun. It's also just a fun, silly kind of movie. But yeah, Graffiti Bridge was weird. So weird. The music, though, on Graffiti Bridge was amazing, like so good. All of the artists on it, on that soundtrack, is just good. And I love the cover too of the film and then the soundtrack. So I think I was like 11. As my grandma called me, I was a double stick girl. So yeah, that was nice. That was a good time. I think I spent like the whole summer with my grandma and grandpa that year because my dad was working overtime. So went down to Arizona for the summer, and thankfully my grandma spoiled me a bit. And I mean, I think my dad was sending her money to spoil me, but she didn't mind. Whereas my dad would have been like, oh, I don't want to buy you these. It's too expensive, because he was stingy. My grandma was like, oh, yeah, whatever. You can have 3 albums, and that's it. My grandma was more like limits to items, although like whenever we went into Mexico, she'd get pissed if I didn't let her barter. So she taught me how to barter too. That was fun. You know, haggling. My grandma was good. She just up and walk. She'd like lowball the hell out of people, and then she'd just walk away, make them chase her down, and agree. Oh man, I wouldn't say I'm as good as her, but I'm thankful for her. And I do find having multiple people helps with haggling. Almost got my nail polish off. I'm going to do a nice nude color today. So I'm excited about that. Nice nudie nail polish color. I'm really into that, especially when my nails are like long like this. It just looks so good. Oh, maybe I could just not paint them. What do y'all think? Just put a clear coat on it? No, I want some nail polish. Let's look at them. These are real nails, y'all. Real nails. They need to get filed a little bit too because I had to cut a few of them. When you're growing them out, I learned this from another gal, but rounded works a lot better for growing out your nails. So if you want the long nails, you've got to cut them and file them in a round formation. You can't leave them square at all. Because they'll snag on things. So you need to have as smooth surface as possible, or as smooth as edge as possible to keep them from breaking, you know, and getting caught on things. Because that's most often why people can't grow out their nails. It's that they snag. So you want to really pay attention to the shape specifically. And keeping them painted also helps keep them kind of reinforced. Having that like couple of layers on them. I love doing my nails. It's so fun. Been listening to Neil Young on Spotify now that he's back. What the hell was that? I mean, I couldn't. I remember when he like announced he wanted to be taken off of Spotify because of the Joe Rogan podcast. Remember when that happened? It didn't last very long. I mean, just a couple of years. But I'm a Neil Young fan, so it was kind of a bummer because I use Spotify. And then, yeah, Joni Mitchell followed suit as well, which sucked because I'm also a Joni Mitchell fan. So these two artists that I kind of grew up listening to, and like I listened to, you know, or I enjoy listening to, I couldn't, you know, use Spotify to listen to them. And I do have some of their albums, but I have to like dig them out. I don't really, even though I do have a CD player, I don't listen to music that way that often. Like I prefer to just have it on like my computer or my phone. So yeah, I listened to Joni Mitchell's Blue album, got all weepy a couple of times. Oh man. Why? Especially Little Green. That song is just like, oh God. I can't skip it though, even though I know it's going to make me cry. I always have to just listen to it. Ugh. That album is so good. Hey, Lord Bibby. Yeah. I mean, I understand that. But yeah, but then at the same time, like, get over yourselves. They were really going after Joe Rogan hard because I mean I don't even remember that he was really anti like the V card. I gotta be careful about my words here because it's still like contentious, you know. I don't remember him being against it. I think he was just like using some other methods. Like he took the ivermectin and like vitamin D when he had COVID or something. And he was talking about like his recovery. He's also like in pretty good shape. So I don't know. People lost their minds with that. And a lot of them still haven't gotten their minds back. It was such a, oof, I hate thinking about it. I just, ugh. People became so awful, so many, so awful for so long. And yeah, just not like really listening to anything and, you know, so quick to label people and, you know, polio is one thing, but the amount of unnecessary V cards people are having to get today, and it's just constant, and it's not. I don't know, like I don't know how people deal with it. If I were a parent, I'd be like very concerned about the number of expected shots, you know, that your kid is supposed to get. It's just ridiculous. I hated going in for shots as a kid, and now it's just like the amount is way worse. And I used to fight these efforts too. Like they used to have to get like backup. I remember one time I didn't want a shot so bad. They brought in 6 nurses to control me because I was just fighting and struggling so much because I was just like, I don't want a shot. I don't want you to give me a shot. Like, and my dad just kind of like, he didn't assist at all. He just was kind, I don't know if he was stunned or what, but or maybe he just like didn't want to, you know, since they were insistent. Like I don't know how he felt about it. We never talked about it. I think he probably just felt it was better for them to handle it. Neil's politics have always been incoherent. No, that's the bit. That's the bit that kills me. That's the bit where I start to like tear up. Like God, that's the bit where I lose it. Just a little green. Terry, I'm listening in, making fried chicken. Well, you can listen in, whatever you're doing, making fried chicken, eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, down at the beach, exposing the obvious globe, or whatever. How was church? Oh, that's nice of you to ask. Church was nice, actually. I was at church all weekend because we had a conference. My church was hosting a Grace Evangelical Society conference about heavenly rewards this weekend. So, I went Friday night, most of the day Saturday, and then today one of the guests actually did the sermon, and I loved his sermon. I got to talk to him after the service just because we didn't really talk the 2 days of. So I had a nice time at church, and yeah, let's see. So I don't know where to begin with that. Like church service today was nice though. The hymns we sang I wasn't really too into, but worship time was pretty fun. Um, I actually had cash for my tithe as well. So I haven't been doing that lately. I've been like paying online. So it was actually kind of fun to put some money in the dang collection plate. And we also we do communion every first Sunday of the month. So we had our communion, which was nice. Yeah, the sermon was on the woman who was caught in adultery. That story from the life of Jesus. So um, interesting. It was interesting. I never really put together that the that woman was set up. Actually, it's part of one of my pantsuits. I do have a matching pant that goes with this blazer, but I just threw it over because I was wearing pink today. So I'm wearing a pink dress underneath it, and then I have some like pink leopard print stockings. See those? And then my little pink shoes. So yeah, yeah, it was a good revisit, and I enjoyed his talks as well during the conference. Although I have to say the conference was a little bit, I don't know, I don't think about like when we die what heaven's going to be like that often, you know? I don't, it doesn't even really enter into my imagination much as a Christian. So I kind of like, and I kind of also like, I don't really think of heaven as a place we go when we die. I think of it more as like a dimension. I don't know, like, but it doesn't really matter to me because again, it's to me like the afterlife isn't really the purpose of Christianity. I don't know, and it's not to me like a big part of my personal faith. So it was interesting, kind of just listening and having those conversations and listening to people speculate about what it's going to be like. So yeah, I had an interesting time though. I definitely did, and we had a nice. I've been craving like Chipotle all week. I don't know what it was. I was just craving it, but I never ended up going to get it just because my workload was so crazy and I couldn't really get out during the week to actually go get some. And it's one of those things, it's like I'm not going to order Chipotle off of an app. It's just not right. I need it to be made in front of me, you know? It's just one of those places. And like, yeah. So, funnily enough, for lunch yesterday, they got Chipotle for the catering. So I got me some Chipotle, and it was good. Good, good, good. And they even had little Izzy sodas, which I haven't had one of those in a while. So that was good. So the food was good. I will say, though, after lunch, I did start to fall asleep. It went too long. Like, I feel like I should have left after lunch, like, especially because I still had more work to do when I got home. So I ended up after the conference was over, leaving, going to the coffee shop, and that took forever. Like they were packed, even though it was 4 o'clock in the evening. So I got a latte, brought it back home. By the time I actually got to sit at my desk, and mind you, this is all within a few blocks radius. Okay. By the time I finally got home and got sat at my desk to work, it was almost 5 o'clock. And I was just like, are you kidding me? So I didn't even catch up to where I wanted to catch up. I got a lot of work done, but still not exactly where I wanted to be. But at least I think tomorrow I'll be able to. We'll see. We'll see what I get caught up on. I don't know. Work is hard. It's hard on top of like trying to have a life, and then this conference came up. But it was definitely like interesting. I will say, there was one woman who was presenting and educating, and she got very emotional during her talk, and I was like, oh man. And then there was another lady during like the discussion time that was when they were kind of speculating about what heaven's going to be like, and she was saying how she imagines that heaven's going to be everything that's held her, held us back in this life is going to be removed or something. Or she just said something how like women are held back. And I was like, I was just kind of like, I had this like, who the hell's holding me back? I'm like, who's holding you back? And then I didn't say it out loud. I didn't think it. I was just like, but I had this kind of like, and there were a couple times during the event where like they called Judas an unbeliever. And I don't think Judas was an unbeliever. So that was kind of another thing where I was kind of like, I get so weird with it. Like, I don't want to get into like theological debates about these things, but like at the same time, I'm kind of like, just because Judas betrayed Jesus doesn't mean he didn't believe in Jesus. Like, but anyway, conversation for another time. I had a good time though. I know. I concur with that. I can see heaven if I have. I mean, I know. It's like we're all a part of bringing about. Like they keep talking about the kingdom, the kingdom to come, and I'm like, well, we're already in the kingdom. We are already in the kingdom. We're already building His kingdom. Like I don't know. I kind of see it as like it's our duty to like we want to bring His kingdom to earth. Like. Well, it starts with all of us like overcoming. So there was talk about like he who overcomes in Revelation, that kind of discussion. So it was giving me I was thinking a little bit about JLP during that, thinking about overcoming and what I still need to overcome myself. So I don't know. It was a really good experience overall. I still have a lot to chew on and think about. And the only regret is that I didn't, go get a coffee before, I think, Saturday. Because they had some coffee, but they didn't have any cream. Or they had some, like, powdered cream. I can't drink that. Hey, yeah, this is me. This is me. Thanks for showing up. Hi, Tomas. How you doing? Tomas brought his sword. He brought his sword to this knife fight. How was Bond service this week? Was it good? I haven't watched it. I don't know. I did see Hake's, or at least most of Hake's beach video. So that was pretty nice. I do love the beach. I haven't been in a long time. And just down in that area, he said he was like outside of San Diego. I just love the ocean down there. Although I have gotten hypothermia swimming in those waters because somebody was like, is it warm? And I was like, nope. No, it is not. I find reading the Bible to be a better use of time. Oh, then like watching the bond service. I don't know where my little file is. I don't know. I thought I'd put it back in the thing and I didn't. And I don't know where my. Like, how did I had that out? And I was using it the last time I was here doing my nails. So I'm like, is it here on the desk? I have all these like pens. I'm doing my art this week. Oh, what a mess. I have this one big file, but I don't really, it's not really as good as doing, it doesn't do as good a job as the other little file. So I'm not seeing the little file. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I've watched, them sometimes, but I don't, yeah. I think I'd like to go there and experience it more than I enjoy watching it. Yeah. Well, I think fellowship is an important part of the Christian life. You do need to have connection with other believers. Oh, yeah. And the other theme of the conference was like, um, the differences between being saved and being a disciple. So just interesting discussions and thinking about those differences. But again, like I tend to view these things like, I don't know, I just don't. The way I just, yeah, like I said, heaven to me is something that it's a dimension that we access and that we're trying to bring about. I don't know. It's not like somewhere we go and we die. I mean, maybe it is. It's nice to think about, will the Lord be pleased with me at the end of my life? I hope so. I do hope so. That pinky is so long. If I go there, Fred might try to marry me. Fred is, well, Fred told me that he's a polygamist, so I would not marry a polygamist. I mean, by a dimension, I mean it's like it's another dimension. Like hell is a dimension, time is dimensional, heaven is also a dimension. It's like I don't know, like a realm. I don't know how else to put it. Like it's a realm that like you can kind of like move into. That's what I mean. But I mean dimension. I mean it's a realm. There's different dimensions of time and space, and so it's like this dimension of just perfect connection with God. Revelation talks about what happens. Yeah, but I don't take Revelation literally, and I'm not one of these people that's like, ooh, is this thing that they're talking about actually this thing that's happening today? Like when people start talking like that, my eyes just glaze over. I'm just like, all right, Yeah, I understand that. Hey, Frederick. All is well. How are you? Just doing my nails, getting them filed, ready to paint them in a minute. Talking about church. Christ Conquers was here asking me about my church experience. So I was telling him about my weekend because I spent pretty much all weekend at church. I'm tired. It was a lot of church. That was cool. There's people that, don't attend our local church though that came to the conference, and interesting speakers, interesting ways of thinking and talking about the idea of heavenly rewards. Were you at fellowship today, Frederick? Girly girl time. And well, I am a girly girl. You know how it is. You know what we got to do. A girl's got to do what she got to do. Okay, Tomas. Hey, Ruby Nicole. What is that? B. Nice to have you. Oh, you didn't go to church? Why not? It's late. It starts late as hell. 11 o'clock. I don't know. He was looking for his alpha male. I know. Tomas is wishing you welcome. I think Ruby's probably tuning. Oh no, you're tuning in from YouTube. Okay. I don't know. Did you see me live on Facebook? I'm on Facebook too right now. I don't know. I haven't had any Facebook peeps say anything, so I don't know who might be watching from Facebook. I think somebody did give it a like though on Facebook. I don't take assignments from men. You take them from women? That's probably for the best. Well, yeah, that one woman though, she was like, as women we're held back. I was like, ain't nobody holding me back. Ain't nobody holding me back. Only God. Amen. Mm. Well, I know they had that assignment like the other week to drop your morals. But I don't know what. Well, there was an assignment though last week, I think. But I think the assignment last week was different. You took the boys to a few parks yesterday. Oh, yeah. Moms are not as fun to play with. Dads can be more fun, especially with boys, because they like to roughhouse and whatnot. Mommy can play with you. Mommy ain't gonna throw them up in the air like Daddy will. Alas. Did you tell them not to cry? Was it give up your morals or values, or was like drop them? I thought that was interesting. I liked what Joelle and Nick had to say about it as they were talking about it this week or the past week. Whenever they were talking about it, they had some interesting insight about that. And what was the biblical question this week? It was something like, what connects you to the physical world? I was like, how am I going to answer that? I was like, my mobility device. My senses? I don't know. Like, what do you mean? What connects me to the physical world? And I guess I'll have to watch Fellowship Time to know, or watch Jesse in the morning to see. He said, it was amazing. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't usually. Yes, of course, Tomas. I'd love to know anyone's answers. What connects y'all to the physical world? I'd love to know. Because this was one where I was like, don't think I'm going to be buying a coffee to answer this question this week. Maybe next week. I think I bought James a coffee. Yeah, I did on the Hake report. I did buy him a coffee, but that was only because I wanted to suggest a show topic, and I didn't want to take the risk of emailing him because he says he doesn't check his email. So, what's a girl to do? I hope he does cover it though. I really do want him to cover that. I'd be like chuffed. I'd be chuffed if he would. We'll see though. Ugh. The suspense is like really like I don't know what to think. Tomas, I know Tomas is gonna have an answer. He's gonna have something. It's gonna be deep. Oh, here it is. Hold up, I gotta brace myself. I gotta finish painting this nail with the base coat. So you're saying your spirit is what connects you to the physical world? My little tasks. My little tasks connect me to the physical world. My cat. In short, our flesh, our bodies, and our thoughts connect us to the physical. Dang. But all thoughts are all lies all the time. Is Yu's name here? Where's Yu's name? I didn't see Yu's name. Yeah, I've known quite a few people who aren't grounded. It's actually a real problem. A lot of people aren't grounded, and it's a source of serious suffering to not be anchored properly in the world. You know what I mean? Like, to be in your head all the time. Ugh, I can't even. So where's Yu's name? I didn't see Yu's name pop up. Did I miss it? Hi, Yu's name. Hola, ¿qué tal? Yu's name is here. Oh my goodness. What are we gonna do? All right, so yeah, we got the LA girl gel. What did they call this color? Sensual. Sensual. Doesn't that sound nice? I'm gonna have sensual nails. Ooh la la. Oh. How does this happen? Oh man, come on. Well, thank you for your insight about the topic, Tomas. I appreciate it. I'll answer it on Sunday if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. But yeah, I found out like one of my pals in the church, he's planning to move. He got diagnosed with Parkinson's, and his family's urging him to come kind of back home. They're going to find a place for him and pay for his travel. So yeah, he had mentioned possibly relocating back there because his daughter had gotten back in touch with him and was concerned. He is a character, I have to tell you, like, been a real character. He was in love with me for a while, thinking, we get married one day, even though that's never gonna happen in a million years. But just been a character, been someone that I have appreciated despite his silliness for a while. But I'm gonna miss him. He said he's might be leaving by June 1st. I was like, that's really soon. And also to now he's just been diagnosed with Parkinson's. I'm like, I've known quite a few people with Parkinson's. Oh, good luck, man. Because he has had a tremor. He hasn't been able to play his banjo like he used to play banjo for us. I actually have some video of him playing banjo I might upload. I still have the videos on my phone I haven't done anything with, but he did a couple of songs for us one Sunday. He used to volunteer for the drop-in meal where the church serves hot meal twice a week to anybody who shows up. So he would volunteer there doing playing music on his banjo, but yeah, he's been unable to, and I don't know, it's gonna be a mess. He's gonna be no more of this silly old man. I don't know. I have a soft spot for the silly old men. We will write an essay on the intricacies of the current geopolitical tenor of the orchestral symphony of global affairs. I mean, you're free to do that. I don't think I'm going to participate, but I support you if that's what you want to do. Go get it. He timed me out for asking a question. He's 40 something, I'm 20 something. What did you ask? What kind of question were you asking? But that's your firebrand conservative. To start a movement and to show at this rate. What are you talking about? James the firebrand conservative. I was banned from some of the shows because I asked about Jesse's ascension to where he is now. What do you mean his ascension to where he is now? Like, what are you asking? You've been working at it for decades. Decades upon decades of building on this, and now and evolving with the technology. And honestly, he's not as far. He's not as high up as he should be, in my estimation. Oh man, how do I have cat hair on this? It's just like, really? Like, where did this cat hair just come from and get on my nail? Like, ugh, joys of pets. What the heck? Let's say this nail polish is very thick. I guess that's what they mean by it's like gel-like. I don't know, it's a mixed bag, but when it's really thick like that, it's kind of, oh man, why is it so difficult just to get it painted right? I'm all frustrated. It's just so thick, and it's like you want to do a couple of layers so that it evens out. Oh man, I'm having a little moment here. Also, painting the non-dominant hand is usually a pain too. It's always fraught with some danger, so. For those of you who were with me last time I painted my nails on stream, yeah, that ended up being a disaster too, because gosh, I keep bumping this top coat that I have set here. So now my pinky nail on my left hand is all messed up. Ugh, what a bummer. It's a little bit better, but what a mess. Are you talking about Pastor Nate? Pastor Nate didn't know what was happening. Does your wife obey you? I was here to talk about my book. That was funny. He did good though. He held up. He almost ran, but he kept it moving. I mean, how are people ambushed? They could easily look up the show before they agree to do it. I don't know. I've mentioned before that I got invited to go on The Fallen State years ago, and I looked it up, and I was like, no way in hell am I doing this show. No way in hell. So, like, if I, and this was when I was in a very fallen state, had enough insight to look up the program before deciding whether to go on it, like, these people are also adults. They're not ambushed. Hi, Nicholas and the kitty. Dr. Terry Strange. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Kind of cute. A little old. Thanks. I bet even though I'm a little old, I still way cuter than you. A little old. Dang. This is why I prefer older men. This is why I prefer older men. Because to me, or to them, I'm young. They're never like, oh, she's hit the wall. They would never even say that. Not that I really believe in that, but they're just like, she's so young and so pretty and vivacious and full of life. They don't judge me or look at me that kind of way. They aren't like, what's her fertility like? They're just so happy and privileged to be in my company. Thank God for old men. Thank you, Matthew. See, Matthew knows. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew, a man of good taste. Lady Amalthea. What a nice little drawing. Look at that. It's like a Art Deco unicorn sort of thing. It's cute. Thanks for being here. I'm doing my nails. I just did the first. So we've done the base coat and the first layer of the color. We're going to do another layer and then the top coat. Oh, it's the last unicorn? Oh, okay. I never read that. Isn't that sad? I probably should. Desperate is a word too. Lol. Desperate. Are you referring to me as desperate? Or you, or who? Oh, okay. In her human form, they call her Lady Amalthea. Yeah, I feel bad. I never read The Last Unicorn. What kind of childhood have I had that I never read The Last Unicorn? I'm gonna have to rectify that. I feel like something's missing. I know, Seesaw. We need to pray about this. I'm gonna pray for Yu's name. Lord, I want to lift Yu's name up in prayer. They made it into a beautiful animated movie. I watched the original Batman No, I don't. I've never watched the original Batman with Adam West. I mean, I've only seen like clips of it. I've never like actually sat down to watch the original Batman. I only really know about Adam West because of my friend Adam Lore's involvement with Adam West Day in Walla Walla. I need to reach out to him. It's been a few days since I've spoken to him. Pray for the old men. I do be praying for some of them. Some of them are fine as hell. Those are the ones I'm interested in. And especially like if they got the Holy Spirit, they stay young. But yeah, some of them are a little bit too old. I have this one guy who's been a bit of a issue for a while. He kind of like called me last month and was, you know, he said he loved me, and I told him I love him back because I do love him, and I've told him that to his face. Like we've told each other that a few times, but like he was talking to me like, oh well, do you want to take it to the next level? And I was like, dude, that's not a good idea. I was like, even though we do have this like connection and I value it and like I do love you, like I don't think it's the right thing for us to like take it to that level, which was pretty interesting to have that conversation. I was like, yo. But yeah, he did. I did see him today as well, and he was kind of like, he came up behind me and he was like, "Hi, I love you," and he's like, "Which you already know because we talked about it." And I was like, "You get hit on quite a bit by old men." I mean, yeah. How old though? Because this guy's old. This guy's old. This guy's old. He was born the same year as my grandma, who has been passed away for 13 years. So, yeah, I friend zoned him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I did a bit. Well, it's just not right. It's going to be like, if he and I were to like honestly pursue something, like it would be very unwise. It just wouldn't be good, like I have enough foresight to see that. So, sometimes it's better to just, keep somebody as a friend. And like also, I mean, I also think too, like, what is love? What is love? Love is doing the right thing. What is the right thing? Sometimes the right thing is not like pursuing what you desire. Sometimes it's about considering what's best for the other person. Like just where we're at in our lives, the age difference. Like I don't generally have a problem with age differences or age gaps, but they can get to a point where it is like really unworkable and untenable just because like where people are at in their life. And like, you have to be logical about these things sometimes and try to, again, what is love? Like if I really love this person, am I going to be selfish and like use them for my own aims and machinations? Like, no. So, you have to kind of like consider that, like, even if you do like someone, have a good connection with them, even love them, like what's going to be their ultimate good? And I think that's what love is. It's about being in service to another person's good. Hey, Santino, what's up? Isn't it sad that the LGBTQIA community, the alphabet people, has tried to hijack the rainbow and its meaning? Tried to. Every time I see a rainbow in the sky, I think it's the gayest thing I've ever seen. Like, they have their reasons for using the rainbow for that flag. I really, in terms of like the modern movement, I really don't care for every single new iteration of the pride flag. They keep making them uglier and uglier with not numbers, but colors and weird things on them. So in some ways, I kind of think that's great because it just shows the like inherent brokenness of this community and the inherent brokenness of trying to put all of these disparate kind of, artificial identities together under one flag anyway in the first place. I could go on. I don't know. It's the inclusive progress pride flag is a serious point of contention for me, and that's become the one that's like most dominant everywhere. It's got like the yellow chevron in it with a little purple circle, and then it's got the baby blue, baby pink, pedophile trans flag, and then it's got the rainbow coming off of it. I'm surprised though it doesn't have the black and brown stripe for like people of color, since it's just what a monstrosity. I remember when they did that and they were flying that for a while because apparently the rainbow was racist or something. I mean, just people are just insane and and they have a flag for every different identity anyway. I have some lesbian friends too that were camping at I guess it was like a lesbian camp out this like last year, I think last summer. And they took the old lesbian flag, which had like the labrys on it. It's like lavender colored with a black triangle with like a labrys in it. I think that's what it looks like. I'd have to look it up exactly, but that's like the old lesbian flag. And now there's like a lipstick lesbian flag, which is pink and white and orange or something like that. But anyway, they're flying that old school flag. And apparently, they told me about this woman coming over and like concern trolling them about it, about how it's like a transphobic flag, and they wanted to have a conversation about how it wasn't inclusive with her. And then I ended up finding out that I knew the woman who like went up and interacted with them, because obviously like it's a small world. And I used to go to this woman's, like, she had used to organize these queer femme beauty meetups, which I used to attend. So yeah, it was just like a small world. I was like, oh, I know her. NT ways. I'm not concerned, because again, like, it's not the colors of the real rainbow anyway. Wow, is that true? Dang. We're learning some facts tonight. Damn. I bet they didn't even know they were doing it. Okay. Do I think Oprah was teeing girls up to Harvey Weinstein? Probably not. But who knows? I mean, she did run a school for girls somewhere in Africa, I remember. I don't know. I can't stand Oprah. Like, I don't even know where to begin with Oprah. Like, I'll never forgive her for Monique, treating Monique the way she did. But then Oprah's just like always been a problem. And now she's like, I don't know. Now she's on that Ozempic and she's pushing that thing. Like she's just evil. Terry, NT ways is for blacks. NT ways. I can say whatever the hell I want. I will appropriate their language anytime. What are they gonna do? You're right. Because if you mix all those colors together, I saw the pastor do that. There was this pastor that did it in like I think Arizona. He mixed all the like colors together and they became black. And I was like, whoa. Weight Watchers was obviously a scam. I mean, Weight Watchers is a scam. It's completely designed to fail. Weight Watchers doesn't, I mean, work. It really doesn't. It's not a scientific approach to weight loss, and it really doesn't train people to develop the right habits they need to overcome whatever issue they're having that's leading to, you know, being overweight in the first place. I can watch my weight by standing on a scale. Yeah, that's one way to watch it. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, their point system, and like not enough emphasis on eating the right sorts of foods. And a lot of the problem is people have addictions to certain things that are very calorie dense and they need to just, you know, replace what they're eating with healthier, more nutritionally sound options. My camera kind of went blurry. I don't know. It could be the light coming in from the back. What am I doing? I'm doing my nails, honey. I'm waiting for these to dry. This is the first layer. And once that dries, actually, you know what? I'm probably just going to go over this with a layer top coat because it is so thick. So once this completely dries, we're going to go over with this sparkly kind of top coat. I know I was up too late last night. I mean, like, I was laying in bed for a while. I couldn't fall asleep. And so, like, I just kind of went on and saw if you were still up streaming, and then you were. Thankfully, it wasn't as deranged as it was earlier because that y'all's conversation was dirty. I was like, ew, yuck, that's nasty. I was like, yuck, ew, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe they're talking about that. Yuck. It got foul. I mean, and everybody in the comments were like, you must be new here. I'm looking fresh and fit. Do I have any junk in my trunk? I do have a bit of junk in my trunk, you know. I still got some meat. One of my friends who I hadn't talked to in a few months, when she saw me recently, she said, "You're looking skinny. Are you okay?" And I was like, "Girl," I told her about my like continued weight loss because I've gotten down now to a size 10, which is awesome. Awesome. Like I'm actually in a normal size, you know, and it's just amazing to me that I've been able to continue this trajectory just through changing my habits. So yeah, I was feeling that. She was like, yeah, are you? She's like, you're. I don't. You're. Do you have an eating disorder or something like that, or something? I was like, or do you have anorexia? And I was like, oh no, I'm nowhere near having anorexia. Um, I just told you I was a size 10, so I still have quite a bit of body weight to go before I'm like even on a like anorexic sort of trajectory. And I'm not like, and to me it's just like the weight loss process, it's been slow. I know a size 10 is kind of thick. Like, to me, it is very small because you have to understand, like, I spent a lot of my adult life being around like a size 20. So that sucked. So to me, it's like I'm half my size. My waist is snatched. Like I've got like a really nice feminine shape now, very cute, but I still have a little bit of, I still have I still got some, I have hips and a butt and whatnot. So, although I must say though, the boobs are getting smaller, which I have mixed feelings about. I've noticed like recently with like my bra, I'm like, oh, I might need to size down. I can't believe I might need to size down my bra, y'all. That sucks. But actually, it's kind of nice because I've always kind of, having like really large breasts isn't like great either. No, no, blessed be he is. Yeah, she did. We met on Adam's stream. I know Adam complains about my viewers, but like he got some crazy viewers. Terry, relax. You are not Eugenia Cuny. I am relaxed. It's other people, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people though have bought into the like fat liberation, fat acceptance rhetoric. Because I've just seen it a lot. Like recently I saw several women sharing this article, fake news, mind you, saying that intermittent fasting like increases rates of heart attack. And I was just like, yeah, that's fake news. Like, just blatantly, and of course, the women sharing it were all overweight, like, and not just overweight, obese. And so, like, these women who are in the obese category are like sharing another false news article that like helps reinforce their negative habits. I mean, and I'm not saying this to like put these women down at all because they're very smart in many ways, but like they still buy into this like, idea that being fat is just genetic or something, and it isn't. Like the only thing about it that's like if you come from a family of fat people, that means you come from like generations of people having bad habits. That's all it is. It's it's not like set in stone. You can change your habits and you can lose weight and you don't have to be fat. And I hate to see people staying stuck because it's so bad for you. It's so bad for you on so many levels. It's so bad for you. And I just don't want people to be stuck being fat. Like you can do something about it. You do intermittent fasting? I do OMAD, just started again. Yeah. I do need to kind of give up sugar. Like I haven't been careful enough with that because sugar is an issue for me. But even still, I do intermittent fasting. I don't exactly do OMAD. I would say eat like one big meal a day, and then I like have maybe one or two snacks in my window. Although it depends. I mean, there's some days like yesterday, I only had the one meal. Yesterday was an OMAD day. So it depends. Like, it just depends. Um, but yeah, I do want to. I don't like sugar having power over me, and it's one of those things that I've just struggled with over the years, like having it come back and like with a vengeance, and then it's like, oh, I'm eating like sweets every day, and it's like, no, I need to not do that. And like, honestly, I mean, I don't mind if it's like fruit, something that's actually nutritious, something that has fiber and actual like vitamins and minerals in it, or like something like that's real food. But yeah, I do need to be mindful about the pastries because pastries are my downfall. Like they really are. But again, like it's not so much a weight thing at this point. It's just like what's best for my health. And it's not good for my health to have too many pastries. It just isn't. You know, pastry is meant to be a treat. It's not meant to be a daily treat. It's not meant to be something that I have every day. Well, I wish you luck. I'm glad to hear that you're 7 days free. And yeah, did I show you all my like big pimple I got here? I don't usually get acne, but it's that time of the month where a woman's hormones go crazy. And yeah, I have had this massive thing growing on my chin, and it's like a painful one. It's not like seriously painful, but if I touch it, it's like painful to the touch. And I don't even think it's going to like come to any sort of head. I think it's just going to be one of those things that lingers and is painful for a while. So that's been fun. Yeah, it'll leave on its own. Yeah, it's not, I don't get too much acne. I really don't. It's rare, but occasionally I'll get something like this. It looks like a goiter. It don't look like a goiter. Shut your ass. You know it does not look like a goiter. Goiters aren't even there. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty blessed. So even when I do get it, like it'll be okay. Hey Kate, glad you're here. Okay, where are the nails at? No, they're still not ready. Dang, the nails are not ready. You drink nettle tea? Nice. Congrats on making it out of jail. Y'all are silly. Y'all are silly. Ooh. We are glad to have you. How have you been? Okay. I'm just enjoying having a zit. Like I haven't had one or like it's not even a zit. It's like a pimple. I don't know. It's like a thing. It's a big weird thing on my face. It's something a little bit different. You're cooking a tomahawk steak for dinner. Dang. What's a tomahawk steak? What makes it what is a tomahawk? Is that a bird? I don't know anything about cooking steak, honestly. Like I rarely eat steak. It's not something that's a big. I just don't really know how to. I don't know. It's not that I don't know how to cook it. It's just not like one of my preferred things to cook. I mean, maybe I should look into how to cook it. Maybe I'd like it more. For like red meat, I usually just get some like ground beef or bison, and then I have like. So yeah, I'll have that. But I don't really mess with that. Or I'll get like a roast. Sometimes I'll get roast and then like do a roast. It's a steak on the long bone. Okay, okay. I was in jail, in the jail of no fellowship with God. When the sun sets you free, you're free indeed. Amen. J.S. Urban Adventure says he would never let a woman cook my steak. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of masculine. I don't know, eating steak, it's so masculine. Like I could see going out to a steakhouse and ordering a steak, or like a man cooking me a steak. I could see that. You know, when they get their they get their grill and they get on their apron and they get their little thing set up and they're like out there cooking on the fire like men like to do, and they're wrapping up the corn, you know, putting it on the thing and the buns and like they do all the things. I guess buns wouldn't come into thing, but I'm just thinking of like when my dad or like uncles would cook steaks. No, I don't like a well done steak. It's got to be medium for me, medium. Especially like if you go to a like nice steakhouse, I'm not gonna order something well done. That's just like that also just makes you look trashy, honestly. It just makes you look trashy. I don't like it really bloody, but yeah. Um, if I'm really not in the mood, I might order it medium well, but medium I think is safe because like it's not too weird. I don't like it rare though. I don't like it like super rare. I find it gross. But yeah, medium or medium well is good for me. You like them rare? It leads to manly time with a wife. Oh my, Tomas. What are you referring to? Are you referring to cuddling? I can gnaw on the bone of a T-bone for hours at Terry Strange. Dang. I used to only do rare. Now I do medium rare. Nice. Yeah. No, I can't. I can't. The well done. I mean, when I was a kid, I guess I kind of liked it well done, but that would be like at home when I would have it. I don't, can't get into it. I suppose I just can't get into it. It's not good. And it does make you look trashy if you go to a nice place and order it medium or order it like well done. It's like, oh, you're just gonna like totally totally ruin this nice steak. Take this nice steak and make it all like uh, yeah, it isn't right. um last time I went to like a nice steakhouse, I got like a tuna steak and I ordered that medium. I should have gotten it medium well though because it was like fish. So it was like a little raw in the middle, which was okay. I mean, tuna's okay that way, but it was can I give my kitty some love? You want some love, baby? You want some love? No, he don't want no love. He tired of me. Terry was a witch and fat, and now Kate was a witch. Lady and Amalthea, you too. Oh, yep. Can I get 4 witches? Yeah, I mean, that was a difficult time in my life. That was a difficult time in my life. I definitely appreciate what I learned at that time, but Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good time. I took the fam to a steakhouse and the kids ordered chicken nuggets. They ordered chicken nuggies. That's probably for the best. I was never big on chicken nuggets as a kid. Like, sometimes, like, maybe if it was from a place like, McDonald's, like, then it would be, oh, nice chicken nuggets. But other than that, like, I guess we never really had that stuff in my house growing up, which kind of grateful for now as an adult. Like, because there's so many adults out here that still eat that way. Like, I see them, they're full grown adult buying chicken nuggets at the store, eating them with ketchup or something. It's like, oh, Lord, that is nasty. Not no good. Not delicious. And I'm wishing I had another one of these. I do have another can over there, but we'll just wait. We'll wait to get another beverage. Okay, top coat is on the left hand. Right on. Oh, y'all talking. What? What the? What? Um, what is the appeal of being a witch? The appeal is a sense of power. A lot of women, especially, like, and it's also an aspect of femininity. Like, you have to understand, like, with masculinity, there's a light side and a dark side. There's also a light side and a dark side to femininity. And on the dark feminine, it usually is a product of the traumatized female psyche, and that traumatized female psyche seeks to get revenge through um, having some kind of power over men, which is like a psychological power. And um, it works. This stuff is, a lot of it is just down to psychology. Like, the witch archetype does work on most men, because most men are not, like, spiritually sound. So a witch is able to kind of, like, manipulate. But it's not just the witch aspect. I think a lot of women are also, because of that traumatized female psyche, that dark feminine psyche that seeks to get revenge and subvert the masculine, um, through, like, an indirect kind of sabotage. I mean, yeah, if you, this is the thing, this is the thing. We bless and curse ourselves, okay? You put that stuff out there, it's just, it's not going to be good for you. Like, you honestly, like, are sitting around being baneful and wishing malice upon innocent people and trying to do innocent people harm. It's like, that's just not ever that, like, you're only cursing yourself. You are only cursing yourself. That, they want to feel powerful. I don't know why you would curse someone because you want to sleep them. I mean, especially like a woman doing it to a man. What pagan god do I worship? I don't worship any pagan gods. You like my blazer? And even when I was a witch, I didn't worship any like gods. That wasn't even like part of it for me. Like I might have had like reverence for, like tried to have like a relationship with them, but like worship wasn't something that I got into. Like I only can really say I've ever worshipped the living God. How strange. How strange that somebody would form a relationship with someone they have shared values with. Yeah, I mean, and there's some things about it that are interesting. Like I said, I got a lot out of my research, like occult research. I learned a lot for sure. Um, my studies of Hermeticism were very enlightening and definitely gave me a lot of understanding of reality. But again, you have to learn how to separate, what is good from what is your own broken psychology, um, basically trying to get a false sense of power by subverting others and like doing this passive aggressive kind of witchcraft stuff instead of like just taking positive action in the real world. Why do I have a black cat? Was that by design? He's black because he was black when I found him. So, and he's not completely black. He has some white on him as well. He has a little white spot on his chest and on his belly and under his front legs, like kind of like his little armpit area, you could say. He has a little bit of white fur there. So he's not completely black. But I found him. Like he's a cat that I found. He was a kitten. He didn't have a home. He had a belly full of milk at the time. He was very small, tiny, and needy, and he ran into my arms, and I was his mama ever since. So I just believe that he was meant to be my kitty. And I've always had black cats. I don't think it's maybe it's something witchcraft. I don't know. I don't really think about it like that. I had black cats growing up. I had my first, well, not my first cat. My first cat was orange and white. But like my next cat, Midnight, she was black, and then Panther, black, and I don't. I I have always, you know, regardless of what anyone thinks about that, like I like black cats. I do. I don't think it has anything to do with witchcraft. I do think they are protective animals. Little black cats and black animals in general do have like a protective sort of vibe. So maybe that's part of it. Um, I just, and if I see that there's like, in the future, if I consider an animal like I would be more inclined to adopt a black one over, I think, others, just because there's like prejudice against black cats, and I've had many of them, and I don't have any sort of preconceived notion or prejudice about black cats. Like, he's my kitty. I love him. He loves me as much as a cat can. Black cats freak you out. It's just a cat. Grow up. Why would a black cat scare you? Why do like people have dark features too? Like I don't. It's just a cat. He's just a cat. He my kitty. He my baby. He's a good boy. He loves the Lord. He loves his country. He loves his mama. He's a good cat. And black cats are wonderful. They're fun. They're wonderful. I don't have any sort of superstition about them, and because other people do, I'm more inclined to want one, just because like I believe it's important to love those that are unloved. People have, people's superstitions about them have led to like really, sick behaviors. And yeah, they are less likely to be adopted. I don't know. It's just every black cat I've ever had has been amazing, has been a wonderful companion. How do I know my black cat loves the Lord? Nero, do you love the Lord? Hey, do you love the Lord, Mr. Katie? How you feel about the Lord? Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, Maine Coons are interesting. I know. I mean, well, it's just, the thing about it is it's so addictive. That's the thing I noticed about it, and that kind of like really kind of got me convicted about it. I'm like, this kind of like you're doing this one thing, and then you get into this, and then you're just like spending all your money on like this, that, and the other, and it's like, when does it end? You're just in this cycle of consumption, and the reason why you're stuck in that cycle of consumption is that you're thirsting for spiritual truth and connection, and that only really comes from a connection to the Father. It only comes from a connection to the living God. And so, we're constantly, in this cycle of chasing like the number of like tarot decks, I bought. Like, some of them are like interesting, some of them are cool decks, like, but really how unnecessary it all is. Okay, he is normal looking. I think you need to get your eyes checked. I mean, yeah, I think that, yeah, you could call it possession. What the heck? I don't know why StreamYard is telling me this. I mean, yeah, I think that's a part of it too, though. Like, the kind of persecution. I think a lot of women identify with that, and the fact that so many women were persecuted and killed as witches. I think a lot of women, especially if they're in their dark feminine, they're going to relate to and identify with that because they feel wounded as women. They haven't overcome whatever traumas of male violence that have, led them to their disrupted psyche in the first place. So, they're apt to identify with witches just based on that alone. The self-imposed victim. I mean, like, there are like things that women go through in this world. Like I said, women who've experienced, forms of male violence specifically, a lot of them get into this victim mentality because of an initial victimization, and so they identify, their psyche is broken. They haven't overcome it, so they and as they look into the world, they start to identify with these other, as they see it, persecuted women. And I do think that like the witch trials, the witch hunts were about primitive accumulation, and that's usually what it's about. It's not really about, witchcraft. It's more about getting people's property. And in Europe specifically, and it happened here in the Americas as well, like a lot of indigenous people were, they had to deal with the same kind of accusations of witchcraft for following their own, traditions and habits after colonization, especially from like the Spanish. So a lot of it just comes down to accumulating land and property. And in Europe, it was about getting people to give up common held property, like the common lands, and to get people to, a lot of people to immigrate to the Americas for one, and also to seize up commonly held lands and turn them into private property. So, like, it's a complex thing. It's not like, it's not just, the witchcraft scare and trials weren't really about witchcraft. I feel, I have a very strong feeling like that they were more about getting people off of the common land and turning it into private property so that we could facilitate the Industrial Revolution. But anyway, probably burn more lesbians than witches. I mean, I don't think there were there a lot of lesbians. But, I mean, yeah, I think they probably got rid of a lot of women. Well, it's not that I think they got rid of a lot of women that were inconvenient, or they got rid of women who were independent, like financially independent was a big part of it. Like women who had their own businesses. This is really retarded belief that women have, through history, never worked or never had any industry of their own, and it isn't true. Like, women have been involved working in all forms of industry. Well, not all forms of industry, but in many forms of industry since time immemorial, because there's no life without work. So, prior to that period in European history, for example, like women were pretty dominant in different fields of enterprise that also became industrialized. So, like for example, spinning wool, that kind of thing, that became an industrialized thing. And a lot of women who spun wool previous to that were financially independent because it was such a lucrative business. So I have no doubt that they targeted those women specifically, in terms of, getting them off of the lands. And then there's the thing about like the cunning women. So like cunning women, weren't necessarily witches, but they were women who knew like folk medicine and remedies. And sometimes they did practice like some forms of cunning magic, but like I wouldn't call them witches in the sense that like other women today identify as witches. Like they would have still been members of their community, and they would have, been part of like the Christian fellowship of the community as well. But those women too, there's an interesting history of this when in Europe, as they started to import cane sugar from the Americas, there were a lot of different health issues developing, and the cunning women were encouraging members of the population to not eat sugar. So, I mean, this is an interesting thing that a lot of them became targets of industry because they were, people would get sick and they would go to the cunning women for assistance, and the cunning women were like, you got to quit eating the sugar. So, that's a part of it too. throughout history, who has had it easier, men or women? I don't think it's I don't think it's really I don't think it's an either or. I don't think it's either or. I think both men and women have had very hard lives throughout history. You know, the only men and women who don't have hard lives are really us today, comparatively to how our ancestors have lived. And it also really depends on where you are. Like I was talking with a man today, you know, he was just asking me about like my life because he didn't know me, you know. And he was like, "Yeah, are you from here originally or did you, you know, move here?" And so I told him I grew up in Alaska and, you know, kind of the reasons why I didn't want to live in Alaska. And like mainly because the lifestyle in Alaska is so difficult. I didn't want to do that my whole life. You know, I didn't want to be shoveling snow and hauling wood and stocking wood and dealing with all of the like intense things that you have to deal with living in Alaska. Even like when we moved to Anchorage and we had like, you know, semblances, you know, we had a lot of modern fixtures that maybe we didn't have initially. Like it still was a lot of work because, you know, we still had like a wood, you know, I still had to like haul wood and, you know, we had to deal with like the, you know, heating the wood stove and like dealing with the just all manner of things. Y'all have been going off. I don't even think I can keep up. Where in the US is Alaska? What? So Alaska is north. It's like the northwest. It's next to Canada. It's kind of that bit that sticks out off of Canada that the US owns, and it's in between Canada and Russia. It's that bit. It kind of looks like a face. Or let's see if I can do it. Like, no, I can't do it. It's my hands can't. I can't do it with my hands anymore. So it's that bit. That's where, yeah, that's where I grew up. So I didn't want to deal with all that. You know, that was a hard life. So even today, people live, depending on where they live on the planet, their lifestyles can be very difficult or not difficult, depending. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's helpful to compare because, like, you just have to imagine the amount of work people had to do prior to modern conveniences. Like, okay, let's think about what life was like for, let's see, like just a normal, even a middle class, like wife and mother. Let's see, 120 years ago, what kind of work did she have to do every day and every week? Like the laundry was intense alone. So like, I don't know, like let's not get into comparing. Like, let's just not, it isn't, we like, especially like from our modern perspective, I just can't even get into it because everyone I know now has just such an easy life comparatively. Unless they're like living somewhere rural and remote, like in a cabin in Alaska, you know, like I did when I was really small, you know, and that was rough. No, I can't do Alaska. You can make Alaska with your hands. Like I can't do it on camera. See, and then this hand I can't bend it that way because of the issues with my hands. So, do I believe that people lived like 600 and 900 years at some point? I mean, that's what the Bible says. I wasn't there, but I'm inclined to believe it. Like, it's interesting to think about. What's just dumb coming from a non-American? Tomas was probably messing with me. Hmm. That's a good point, Santino. You're right about that. Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with other ancient civilizations talking about it, but do you believe? Sounds like you're a believer. Why are you asking? Where is Ukraine? Tomas, where are the 600 to 900 people at now, or 600 to 900-year-old people at now? I mean, it's interesting to think about. Like, if we had that much time, what would we do with it? Maybe it wasn't good for us, you know? Maybe that's part of like why God changed things because, yeah, it wasn't good for us. We didn't appreciate it. I don't know though. Who knows? All I know is what we have now. The lives we live now. How these nails doing? That's still a little bit tacky. No, Tomas is not a bot. Tomas is my little fox. They created new entities. You know, I don't know that there's much difference between entities and these fake identities that people adopt in this world. It's attractive when a woman says, I don't know. Is it, Matthew? It is attractive when people admit to not knowing things. Yeah, that's kind of interesting insight about it. I wonder about that too, like with Abraham and Sarah, you know? Imagine how many kids we could have. And here I am, I ain't got no chilies, I got no kids to take care of. All I got is this damn cat, who I love very much. I'm so grateful for him every day. He makes my life very happy just by being my kitty. I'm very grateful for you. Where does he? Okay, all right. You had an out username. Take care. I don't know if I care. Men find me attractive. I mean, it's nice. I like when people. I mean, I find me attractive. I like when other people do as well. I'm like, because you know, I get myself together every day. You know, I go out in the world. I look pretty, and it's like other people appreciate it too. I'm like, all right. I know. I know. That'd be nice. Is Missing Mod still here? I don't even know who's here. Y'all were, the chat was going so fast. I was like, I'm not even going to try to catch up. I think it was when I was going off about witchcraft or something. NT ways. Moving on. Trump is the only alternative left. Why would you vote for Butcher Biden? I wouldn't vote for Butcher Biden. I've never said I would vote for. I would never vote for Joe Biden. Come on. Thank you, Matthew. I'm gonna put it in my pocket and save it for a rainy day. Cheers. La di da. All I know is I don't know nothing. I mean, I know some things. I do be knowing things. And then I do not be knowing things too. Sniff, sniff, Biden. Yeah, he do be sniffing people. What is with that? Like, I remember like years ago, I saw like a video of him that really creeped me out. But then I kind of realized it had been manipulated a little bit. So I was like, I don't need to be living in my imagination about this video, but like, he's not. At this point, like, I don't know what's going on with him. I feel like he's not even really. I mean, I don't doubt that he's present to a certain degree, but like, he just seems like he needs a lot of help. I mean, as I said, I do not, this, I have a rule on my channel. I don't endorse political candidates on my channel. I'm not going to. Like, if you feel that way, I support you. Do vote for who you think is best. But I'm not doing it. I'm not getting involved. I'm not scanning anybody. I'm not putting my seal of approval on anybody. Like, I'm just not. Period. I mean, I don't know. It's not that hasn't been my experience. I mean, I'm sure there's some of them, but like, I haven't noticed that so much. I mean, there are some guys that are like that, but not like in my church family. I think I've noticed they enjoy that I'm a woman that can like keep up pace with them in terms of like banter. I don't know, like, some men are looking for a woman that's stupid, but I think most men want a woman that they can, you know, enjoy speaking to. I mean, I don't know. It depends. A lot of guys, I mean, let's just be real here. A lot of men, they don't like women. And that's not ever going to be a man that I'm going to mess with because, like, I'm just not naive or dumb. So I mean, maybe I'm naive to a certain point, but like, if I get the vibe from a man that he doesn't like women very much and that he's more interested in me based on like what he can get out of me than like actually liking me as a person, then yeah, I'm not going to be interested. So that's just my perspective, like, and that's just my standard as a woman. Like, I love myself, I value myself, I enjoy myself too much to be with somebody who doesn't really like me. Like, I deserve that at least, I deserve that at least from, you know, a man. I deserve to be with someone who at least likes me as a person, who enjoys my company as an individual. And that's kind of like a requirement. So well, that's cool. I mean, that's how it should be. You should be able to spar off of one. You should be able to improve one another. You should be, of an equal kind of mind. You should come together and become greater because of your interaction together. That's how it should be. But anyways, going on dates is kind of frightening. Why is it frightening? I don't find it frightening. I love going out on dates. I get all dressed up, cute, get to play the coy, mysterious type, learn about someone, get to know them better, have a nice experience together, make some memories. What's scary about dating? Like, why are you frightened of dating? Let's unpack that, Lillian. Dating is supposed to be fun. It's not frightening. Some men are really crafty. What if they can support you and your kids financially for the rest of your life? I believe that God is abundant enough to send me a man that can do that and also like me as a person. I believe that the Lord has somebody out there that is of an upstanding provider mentality that also likes me. I believe he's out there. I believe it. I believe the Lord has him for me somewhere. I'm too trusting. I feel like they pick on that. Well, then why are you trusting men? Why are you trusting them? Don't trust them. Okay? What are you doing? The only thing I trust is what a man shows me. Okay? What he shows you is who he is. So just, listen to what he says, but take it with a grain of salt. Like, and don't rush into anything. Like, get to know somebody. Like, the modern dating market is a mess. Well, Tomas, I think it depends on the age of the man, okay? Like, because you have to think, I'm not a 20-year-old. If I were 20, okay, and like looking for a husband, I'd be more inclined to like be of that mentality. Like, I'm gonna help him build himself. But I'm 38 years old. If he hasn't figured it out by, the age of man that I'm dating, which is gonna be over 38, like, I don't like. Come on, if he doesn't have enough, come on. I just it's. You were talking to Lady Amalthea. So what? So what? This is my stream. We already talked about this. Why do you spurn me, Tomas? I think both sexes should be concerned about their partner's body count. I'll just put that out there. Like, I don't. I think it's uncouth to ask a woman, that question if you haven't already established a relationship with her of some degree. Like, I don't think it's appropriate first few date conversation, but like if you're seriously considering marriage, you might want to ask them about their dating history and their sexual history. I think that's fair if you're actually considering marriage with someone. Because like, I would be very concerned about a man's body count as well. Like, if a man told me he had a very high body count, I'm gonna be like, you know, concerned. Or if a man, like, I've dated a couple guys who are divorced, and when they tell you that they were screwing around on their wife, that immediately it's like, okay, red flag. And this is just what they'll admit. So like, I think a high body count is an indication of, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to judge people too harshly, but like, I think there are certain numbers that are a bit excessive. So I would be freaked out by some high numbers myself. I'd be looking at somebody a bit different if they have like a really high number. Because I mean, it's first off, it indicates a lack of respect for yourself, but then it also indicates a lack of respect for women generally. So like, this is just, I'm speaking as a woman thinking about a man's body count. Like, okay, so how many women did you like emotionally F over to get sex out of? Like, or whatever. Like, because it's a lot. Like, I don't know. But there are also these people that just like, I see these women like on these weird, like screwed up podcasts, or like, the Mike dude in the street in the middle of the night going up to women and asking them their body count. And like, I'm amazed that women even answer. Cause like some strange man comes up to you and asks you like how many people you've slept with. I'm like, who are you to be asking me this? So I think discretion is also important, like as well. So like, who you disclose that information to is important, and like when and why you're doing it is important. Yeah, I mean that is a thing that happens, but like at the same time, like how long were you doing that? It's one thing to like have a couple of one-offs when you're young. It's another thing to have like sustained years and years of inappropriate sexual behavior. At some point you have to get tired of going through the same cycle. Even if a person was abused, like how, if that is the case with someone, then I'm going to be thinking like, well, how good is this person at picking up patterns? Like how well does this person even know themselves? Like how long did it take them to break this pattern of behavior? Like how long did it take them to come to awareness about their behavior? I mean, I think I mean, the amount is not as important as like how he invests it, and like, what his mentality is about it. Like, because, there are very wealthy men who are not generous, and there are men who, make modest incomes, who, work very hard to support their families. To me, the guy who makes less money but who is a provider is going to be a lot more attractive than a guy who is rich but who is stingy and not generous. Period. So like, it's not really what a man makes, it's how he acts with his money. How generous he is, what his spirit is like. That's true. This is why it's important to take your time, get to know people, like catch them in their lies, and like kind of figure out like, sometimes it's not even like lies. It's just people don't really see themselves. You're talking about Adam Driver. Oh my goodness. Where are we at? We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I should probably get out of here shortly. So maybe go another 15 minutes or so. I think debt is more important than how much money they make. That's a good point too. Like, yeah, debt is definitely something to be mindful of with anyone you're dating. Like, definitely, debt is debt will eat up everything. So how do they handle, it's like also how do they handle what they have? Like, are they responsible with what they have? Do they make sound investments? What do they like to spend their money on? Do they have a good budget? Are they responsible with money too? Like, I think there's a lot of questions you want to think about, but yeah, like again, what they make isn't as important as what they do with it, because honestly, if they've got money problems, more money isn't going to solve their problems. Oh, hey, Santino with the super chat, super chat. Thank you. Thank you for your generous donation to the Cherry Strange channel. Your support is appreciated, and I hope that you have enjoyed your time with us today while I was doing my nails, talking about whatever. I promise I will have far more interesting content in time to come. But even as it is, we do have some interesting conversations, and thank you for participating as well. Hello, Vasco Vasconomi in the house. Yeah, I concur. I concur. And, I mean, also, like, this is the thing, like, people can work together, though, on debt. Like, would I do the fallen state now? Maybe if I was asked. I mean, I would love to, like, actually, like, have an in-depth conversation with Jesse, but I don't really know what I would go on about. Like, I don't have, like, I'm not the same person I was. Like, even looking back at that person, like, even looking back to that time, because that was what, like, 2017, 2018, that, I got that invitation. Like, I was in a very serious fallen state at that time. Like, I can totally see why they would have been interested to talk to me, because I was like a tarot reader and I was, into witchcraft and radical feminism. Like, who knows? But I remember watching him and I was like, this guy is going to get me. Like, this guy's going to make me look foolish. Like, I had a bad vibe about it. Like, I was like, this doesn't look right. I knew even then that he had like some kind of like superpower. I was like, oh, he's a troll. Like, I knew he was a troll. I'm waiting till I'm a size 9. Hey, I'm gonna get there soon, Matthew. What led me to watch JLP? I don't even know how I got on to watching JLP. How did I get onto JLP? Yeah, it might have been my friend B or something. I don't know. I remember seeing like a clip of him where he's talking about like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, how he tells the story of Adam and Eve. Maybe that was it. Maybe I saw that and then I was like, and then I got like his show kind of came up recommended, so I watched it and then got sucked into watching it live. And so I think that's how. I don't really know though. I don't know for sure. Like if that was, it might be though. I think it might have been that, like coming across that. Because I was like, oh, I recognize this guy. I didn't know he had like other things he was doing. Testing a wife through financial struggle. What the fuck are you talking about, girl? You're crazy. What are you talking about? Like testing your wife with, like, what are you doing testing your wife with financial struggle? What does that mean? Okay, let me tell you a story. When I was in my early 20s, I was seeing this guy and he lost his job and he kind of fell into a depression about it. And I stuck by his side and, was encouraging him and trying to get him to like look for new jobs and the reality was he had no motivation. He wasn't like trying to get himself back together. And honestly, I feel like in that circumstance, it's okay to leave. So for my mindset now, like what happened in that relationship, like and what I've heard from other women who've stayed with men who've been in similar positions, like unless I trust him to get himself put back together, if he falls off and he falls into like complete disrepair as a person and is being destructive, like ain't no way I'm staying with that, because men don't respect you, honestly. Like they don't respect you when you accept them at their worst. That's one thing I've learned about male nature. Like if you allow a man to like give you his worst, that's what he'll give you. So I don't like, I'm not, if we're married and he goes through a rough patch and I trust him and I believe in him that he's going to put himself back together, yeah, I'll stick around if I really believe in him. But like, if a guy is like not on the ball and if he has more pride than he does like regard for his responsibilities, I'm out. I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those women who ends up supporting a man because he's depressed. And then, like, while I'm, out there being the man, he's screwing around on me behind my back. Like, because that is just such a common story. Apart from that, anyway, back to the story. Yeah, that guy that I was seeing ended up cheating on me. So, like, lesson learned there. Like, he really was punching above his weight anyway to be with me. I didn't know my value at the time. And I wanted to be supportive and loving and like encourage him. And the more I was that way, the more he like lost respect for me. And honestly, I get it now because it was his own fault. It was his own fault. He lost his job that he, loved so much. And it was, his own fault that he wasn't getting his life back together. So, he didn't have any respect for himself. Like, why would he have any respect for me? And so anyway, I have a very different perspective just based on my experience. And I've also seen other women go through like similar things. Like they stick by a guy, who's fallen off and it just gets worse. And he ends up like hating her and resenting her and thinking less of her because she accepted him when he, wasn't his best. So I don't know. Like I disagree, Cecil. Like if you're married to someone, you do have to like agree to struggle with them to a certain degree, but there's certain struggles that I'm just like you're an able-bodied man, who isn't working because you're depressed is not like the struggle that I'm gonna, be here for. You know what I mean? It's not the, it just isn't. It was get a job. The first thing I want to talk about is how you'll spend your money today. Well, dang. Damn, Matthew, why does that happen to you? Do you got it like that? Are you paid? Matthew bragging about his paycheck right now. He got all the gold diggers coming his way. I mean, I don't know. It would depend on what they're doing. I don't really have an opinion about that, like what he does for a living. But rations, okay, I mean that's your life. I'm not living that way. I am living that way, girl. I mean, okay, this is again like we were talking about. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it, but like I respect a man who will swallow his pride and work a job that pays less just to keep him money coming in to support his family. Like, yeah, I respect that. I respect somebody who will do that over a guy who is not working. You know, there's a big difference. If we have to tighten our budget or like cut back on something or like work together for a financial goal, I am down for that. But what I'm not down for is like struggling because you aren't being a man. You know, that is a struggle I am not for. You know, I'm for the struggle that leads to winning in the end. I'm not for the struggle that leads to destitution and, you know, degradation of me and my children. So, like, I mean, you know, that just hypothetically, obviously I don't have kids, but like, I, I cannot. I mean, this thing, if a man isn't respecting himself enough to like work and be a man, then like he's not going to respect you with him. But yeah, I mean, if he's working, if he's doing what he needs to do, then I respect that. It's not technically cheating if you ain't married. Matthew, he was with me. He was not with some garden variety floozy. He was with me. I know it's not technically cheating, and you know what? Like, yeah. I mean, I wasn't financially supporting him. We'll be clear here. I was not financially supporting him. We did not live together. It was anything like that. But is my last name really strange? No doxing. No doxing. I'm not giving you my last name. No, strange is a stage name. Strange is a stage name. It could be strange. Russians, are we at war? I'm like, damn, is it wartime? What are we talking about here, girl? Here's your ration book for the week. Your family gets one stick of butter per week. Each member gets one loaf of bread a week. Like, dang. I mean, I agree. There is dignity in labor, you know, because there's like a guy loses his job. If he isn't out immediately getting another job, even if it makes less money, I'm looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, pardon my language, but, you know, because yeah, there are men who like bust their butts like this. You know, there are women I know who have multiple like incomes coming in. Like, you're really going to allow one blip to like keep you from getting income coming in, or like you're not going to like work a job you can easily get right now just to keep us afloat. Like, are you kidding me? Or just to keep us from like financially falling into debt, or you know what I mean? Like, it's about the mentality. And like I said, mentality about money is more important to me than like how much you're making. It's like, how do you act about your money? How responsible are you with your money? And like, how generous are you with me? You know, like, are you generous or are you stingy? Because like a lot of rich guys are stingy. You know, I don't care what you're making. Like, how does that impact me? It's like, I care when you like actually put it in front of me, and you know, like, unless it's in my bank account, you know, or you're like spending it on me, like, what does it matter to me? It's irrelevant. It's immaterial, you know, and make it material to me. And then, well, maybe I'll be interested. I agree, Terry. I'm not going to struggle either to get a woman to be a women's. I don't think about Freemasonry much. I don't know. The Mason built buildings look pretty nice. There's one near me that has the cardinal virtues listed on it, and I think that's pretty cool. Terry, if the man himself makes more than household median, will you support him as a wife or by himself? What do you mean? Yes? More than I'm not sure what household median. Do you mean like the average household median? Like, I think so. I think the answer is yes. Terry won't live in a tiny house with me in the mountains. I'm never living in the mountains. I have like spent time in the mountains. I'm not living in the mountains. Are you kidding? No. I need my luxuries. I need my central I no. 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 I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, come on. I'm not the one. I'm not the girl you're gonna move out into the mountains, you know, Matthew. I'm sure she's out there. But like look at me. I'm not the one. You know it. You know I don't belong in the mountains. You know I would go crazy out there. I need my lattes. I need my well paved streets. I can't be doing it. I ran from Alaska. That life is not for me. 35 to 40. That's less than I make. Is that the median household income? No. No, I will not. No, no, I would not marry a man who makes less money than me. Oh, well, those were hills, Tomas. Those were nice. Those were nice. That's different. That's like living abroad, okay? That's living abroad. I'm not living out in like Montana or wherever. I know. I want to be a snowbird. I want to live somewhere warm during the summer or during the winter and then somewhere cool during the summer, you know? That to me is ideal. No, that would not be that would be terrible. That would be terrible, Bosco. I'm sure there's some men who would like to put me on their shoulders, but that's a conversation for another time. Hills are small mountains. Tomas, you, me, our big dogs, couple of little bright faced children. Yeah, I might like do a mountain retreat. I do find it beautiful, but like again, it's also you have to like let's be real here. It's difficult for me. It is difficult for me. I'm not built like a normal person. I don't have the physical, you know, living out in nature like that is it's too physically challenging for me. I can't manage it. You know, I know that just because of my lived experience. You know, my dad had a lot of friends who lived in the mountains that we would visit periodically, and like the amount of work and upkeep that it takes to live that lifestyle. I'm not physically capable of it. I'm just not, you know. So it is what it is. I wish y'all well though. If that's what you want out of life, it's fine. But I want a nice condo in an urban environment, you know, and I want like um, a small place in, maybe the desert for my winter environment. Yeah. And, everything also has to be, accessible. Like out in the mountains, how am I going to get around in my wheelchair out in the mountains? And I'm going to wheel, there's so many things to consider. It's just not going to work. 7 dogs, 68 total kids, 5 daughters. You and I will have 2 daughters, two dogs, 2 daughters. Off-road wheels. Tomas, how am I going to get onto those? And then what am I going to use when I'm inside? And how am I going to get off of that and onto do you understand? Like it's very, and then what if something happens to you? You know what I mean? There's just, let's be real here. There's just certain lifestyles I'm not built for. There are hardy women out there. Oh, Tomas. Something happened to me, never. No, it's something I have to think about. Like, what if a bear attacks you and eats you, or what if you're in an accident? Like, I can't be out stranded somewhere completely. It just it's when I think about it, it doesn't sound to me like a good idea to be very far from an urban environment. Terry, would I cope and learn survival skills in a Mad Max terrain? I mean, hopefully I would die so that I wouldn't have to, because that sounds like it sucks. I used to love, I did have, yeah, we had a 4x4 ATV. That was a lot of fun. We would drive it around. My dad had built this ramp thing, and he also had a trailer. So yeah, we would take it out, and I would ride around. And one time, I took my German friend out on it, and she drove like mad, and I was behind her on it, even though you're not supposed to ride 2 people on it. And I had never been so scared in my life because she just drove like a maniac. But yeah, that was fun. And we also had there was my dad attached a plow to it, so he actually could use it to plow our driveway because our landlord never would get the snow in time. My dad worked so early that yeah, the landlord never seemed to, you know, get get it cleared off. So my dad actually ended up plowing his own drive. Hello, KK. Welcome. Nice to see you. Yes, it sucks, but you're the light of the world and can apply what you learned. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I worry about that too. Like a lot of guys just want to live out in the rural environment so that they can have complete control. And I'm like, again, I don't like controlling like people. Like you got to see where they, yeah, it's fun. Riding the 4x4s are fun. I know snow is awful. Well, if you go out in the mountains, you're going to have snow. I'm sorry, KK. I'm just about to head out of here because I've been going long enough and my nails are done. What the heck was that? Do you hear that? Somebody being crazy outside? There's someone being crazy outside. He's doing interesting poses. He's like squatting. And then there's a couple of fellows walking up. What a mess. Yeah, I understand that. Lillian, my goodness. Yeah, I don't miss the outhouse thing. Like, especially in the middle of summer and they're telling you like there's been bear spottings and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go walk all the way out here to go use the outhouse now. Hopefully a bear doesn't eat me. Thankfully no bears have eaten me. Fortunately there will be no Mad Max world. Yeah. I am happy about it. Hey, it is what it is, honey. At least you're here. Yeah, but I don't know what Bosco's saying a lot of the time either. No, Brooklyn. I did figure we would look at them. Well, you know what? Why don't we finish off doing that? I'll do that now. I'll do that now since you're here and I wanted to. Let me pull up my mail. That's a good way to close out tonight. So we'll do some scripture. Who's ready? We're going to read the word. I had a I was talking at the beginning, but I had a biblical conference, or not biblical conference, but it was like a Grace Evangelical Society conference hosted at my church this weekend. So I spent all weekend at that and then church today. So it's pretty okay. I don't know why Outlook is taking forever to open. Bear with me. Oh, you yawning too? I was yawning and then you yawned too. We so right for each other. Okay, is it loading? Okay, it just closed again. Terry gonna be a preacher's wife one day. I would make a great preacher's wife. I do be kind of some of them pastors there can be kind of sexy when they go off. It's like, oh my god. What am I to do? Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know why I can't open this. What is going on? Here, give me a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. Outlook is not opening. It's like it's giving me some hell. I don't know what's going on. Don't say what duh. Don't say what duh about that. You know, when a guy's all lit up in the word. I was talking about one guy earlier today, like the guy that's like really old that I was telling y'all about, who I had to be like, who I had to friend zone or whatever. Like, I don't even think of it that way, but I had to be like, I don't think it's a good idea for us to pursue a romantic relationship. um, he's a preacher, or he's a retired pastor, so he's technically a reverend. He has the title of reverend. So I did bag a reverend. I do have a reverend in my dating history. So it's a lot for everyone to live up to. Okay, why it's like it can't launch. I guess there's a new outlet. What the heck? I'm gonna try again. I'm sorry, Brooklyn. Terry, whoa. Are you impressed, Lord Bibby? I pulled a reverend. I bagged a reverend in my dating roster. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it keeps not launching. Uh, maybe I have to restart. Okay, maybe I can't do it tonight. It's not loading. Unless can you just post them here? I could pin them and just read them now if you are able to access your email. Yeah, thank you, Brooklyn, because I can't. I think I'm gonna have to restart my computer to try and get it to work, and that obviously will not work with being live. So, all right, got my Bible right here. And you know what? Here, let me take a quick break. I'm gonna get another little iced tea thing because my throat. So I'm gonna take a quick break. So just we'll meet here again in a couple minutes, and then we'll do some word, and then we'll head out. Okay, y'all. So I ended up having some water instead because I like flipped that little can around and saw that there's 17 grams of sugar in that tiny little can. I was like, I had no idea it was that much sugar. So I've already had one today. I'm not going to have another. That's going to be way too much, especially this late at night. So yeah, just had some water. So my throat is not dried out. Okay, Isaiah. Almost to Isaiah. Oof. Isaiah 25:8. He will swallow up death. Okay, so this is Isaiah 25:8. He will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from all faces. The rebuke of his people he will take away from all the earth, for the Lord has spoken. Isaiah 65:17 through 23. The glorious new creation. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered or come to mind. But be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem as a rejoicing, and her people a joy. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. The voice of weeping shall no longer be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. Reminds me of Revelation. Can't remember it exactly, but yeah, it's one of my favorite passages. No more shall an infant from there live but a few days, nor an old man who has not fulfilled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree, so shall be the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. Nice. Matthew 6:9. I'm just reading this last night. Matthew 6:9. In this manner, therefore, pray, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Okay. Matthew 24:21. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Okay, yeah, I think it is Revelation 21. So Revelation 7:9. After these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude, which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, with palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. Okay, I think Revelation 21 has the making of all things new. So what we're reading Revelation 1 through 5. Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Also there was no more sea. Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God. We're reading till 5? Yeah. This is the part that gets me. And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Then he who sat on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. I do like that one a lot. Actually, Esther Mui did a really nice cover of that I listened to quite a bit. We were talking about that earlier because, we were talking about the conference that I attended, and a lot of the discussion was about what it will be like in God's kingdom. And I kind of was saying, well, we're already in the kingdom, you know, heaven is, it was, I was like, but anyway, we don't need to get into that too much, but yeah, we were talking about that. And the whole purpose of the conference was around like the idea of heavenly rewards. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of touch on that and read these and to think about what God is planning to do to recreate the earth. Well, indeed. You go off, Kate. I concur. Yeah, it's a repetition of the same. Okay, Revelation 7:13 through 16. Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, Who are these arrayed in white robes, and where did they come from? And I said to him, Sir, you know. So he said to me, These are the ones who come out of the great tribulation and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore they are before the throne of God and serve him day and night in his temple. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit actually this weekend, this kind of imagery. and he who sits on the throne will dwell among them. They shall neither hunger any more nor thirst any more. The sun shall not strike them, nor any heat. Hmm. Look at Tomas. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Do I think you can take your time to grow in love, or is it thrust upon you? I think that real love is something that grows over time for a person. Like real love is something that you. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say real love because I have had that like experience where you just fall, and I don't want to say that that's not real love either because like when that happened to me, like I still love that person. Like my love has not changed at all. Like and it never will. Um the like intensity of the passion is different, I would say, but like the love remains. If it's real, then it will grow in time and it will deepen. You know what I mean? Thanks, Speed Romans. You nice. God's love. Don't hurt my feelings. I was like, why is he asking about this? I think God's love grows in us too. Actually, you know, the more that we love, the more that we learn to, you know, the more that we carry His love and use His love in the world, the more it grows. Read Job 121 and Deuteronomy. Y'all, I'm interested. I'm kind of curious now. Like, what is Vasco on? Oh, where's Job? There he is. Get a Job. Okay. You don't grow. It's definitely a thrusting motion. What? Wait, what was I supposed to read from Job? 121. And he said, naked I come from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Now see that I, even I, am He, and there is no God besides me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal, nor is there any who can deliver from my hand. Ow! Oof, my hands. Okay. I think that you asked about growing into love, and I think that sometimes that happens with people. Like I have, like with my friendships, for example. Like I didn't start out loving these individuals, but over time, like my love for them grew. The more I got to know them, the more like we spent time together, the more we did for one another, like the more I came to appreciate their virtues. So I don't know, that's kind of what I was going off of. Man, you're okay, Matthew. Read read Matthew 6, 9, 10. Man, I just put the Bible down. Dang. What the? We were in Matthew already. I already read that too. We already read this. 6, 9, and 10. Yeah. The beginning of the Lord's Prayer. Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Left out 10. We have to do the Lord's Prayer every Sunday. I don't know if I like it, honestly. It's getting kind of like at church and tell you about like the service we have. Like every week now, we like recite the Lord's Prayer. And I'm kind of like, And then we also do the doxology. I'm like, it's kind of nice, but I kind of miss when we didn't do it. On earth as it is in heaven. What am I supposed to notice? I understand. We're trying to bring forth God's kingdom. We're already in the kingdom. We're trying to bring it into being. And we're praying for that. I understand that. Yeah. Well, I mean, the kingdom of heaven to me is within. It's not like a place. Again, it's like dimensional. People say they went to heaven and there they all have the Bible written front to back into their heart. Okay. I get kind of, those are always interesting when people talk to me about that kind of thing. When people start talking to me about the people who visited heaven and what it's like, I'm always kind of like, okay, like, let me tell you about my visions sometimes. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I just smile and listen. Mm, yeah, and it was interesting. We were reading in here yesterday. Um, yeah, I think it was like 6:2. The thing about, you know, not boasting about your charitable deeds. This is so interesting. There's so many people that will film themselves doing charitable deeds. You know what I mean? And it's like, you already have your reward. You know, I guess that was your reward, the whatever attention or praise or whatever you were trying to get out of it, views. But storing up treasure in heaven to me is always like, I don't think of it as being something that, I don't think of it in like a tangible, like, oh, this will be a reward waiting for me, you know, when I go to glory. I think of it more just like, you know, having treasure in heaven means being at peace with doing the Lord's will. And that in of itself is a reward. You know, the reward is doing the Father's will. It doesn't have to be like, I mean, there is discussion about like crowns that we may have, or, you know, duties or whatever. But to me, it's like, how does it feel to be doing, how does it feel? And what sense of peace do we have when we are doing the Father's will? How does that feel to be doing what is righteous? I don't even know it's about feeling either, because that doesn't sound right when I talk about it that way. But the treasure in heaven, it's like doing righteousness for righteousness' sake. You know, it's its own reward. It doesn't have to be anything else. Living righteously is its own reward. That's the other thing. Like, sin is living sinfully and living in wickedness always leads to destruction. It always leads to misery, but righteousness is its own reward. It's not really much to think about, for me anyway. It's just obvious. Alas. I don't want to keep reading. We were reading Hebrews last night too. I love Psalm 34, Bosco. The Psalms is my favorite book of the Bible. The Psalms, I be reading the Psalms all the time. All right, we'll read Hebrews 11:16. Where's Hebrews? Where are you at? Come on, Hebrews. There we go. Okay. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. The faith of the patriarchs. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called, concluding that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph, and worshipped, leaning on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he was dying, made mention of the departure of the children of Israel, and gave instructions concerning his bones. Yeah, it's a beautiful. I don't want to continue reading because I'm kind of tired. But yeah, the faith part here in Hebrews 11 is quite something. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good testimony. By faith we understand that the words were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are visible. I imagine Harry doing this for her children. Of course, if I had kids, they'd definitely be getting their Bible reading. I'm not going to read the whole of Psalm 34, but I will read this part. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He guards all of his bones, not one of them is broken. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of those who trust in him shall be condemned. I don't know about Bible thumping to kids. I would read reading the Bible is not the same thing as thumping the Bible. I read the Bible, I don't thump it. I don't like when people thump. Brooklyn's thumping it right now, trying to send me more things to read. I don't know, Brooklyn. I don't enjoy going like what. What is the? Why are you sending me verses to read? Like what? I don't want to discourage you, but I do have like a number of people who are like, read this verse, read that verse, like regularly. Terry, I said verse 1, not all of it. I didn't read all of it. I read my favorite part of Psalm 34. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their trouble. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Terry always hears people cry. He wants praise. I did praise him today. We were worshiping today. I think the Psalms are praise. The Psalms have cries and prayers in them, or praises in them. What is it? I will extol you, O God, my King, and I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Yeah. I mean, I just think it's sensible. You would want your kids to have some understanding of the faith that the parents have, but I also think about like I'd want my children to be biblically literate. And it's not just that, it's terms of like I was at a Bible study and one woman who's participating said that she had a family member who was very anti-Christian and was not allowing their children to be exposed to any sort of like Christian understanding, like any sort of anything about the Christian faith, anything from the Bible. She said that, and she said that we're not going to raise our kids with these myths. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, just because, let's just think about like mythology for a second. Mythology is something I would definitely want my children to comprehend. So even if I believed that these were myths, like that isn't a reason not to educate your children in them. I was just kind of like, damn, that's a really ignorant statement. But, people have their reasons for being blind. It's easier to, stay in hell than, face the fact that, you're in rebellion. I don't know, Brooklyn. I mean, I've been studying the Bible quite a bit, so I'm not sure. It really depends. It's like not everything you had me read is like stuff I've read before. I'm not sure. Not to be rude. Yeah, I mean, yeah, same. It definitely like there was something lacking for sure. Should men read the Bible to children though? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a man reading the Bible to his children. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's like depends on who the man is. A strange man, a man you don't know. Anyways, okay, y'all. I gotta go now for real. I thought I would be off of here a while ago, and I'm tired and I need to, unwind and get ready for bed. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for reading some or listening to some verse with me and discussing it. And thank you for sharing the verses, Brooklyn and Bosco. I will see you another time and wish you all the best until then. Bye.